Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reading Between the Lines. I'm Sara, and I have the absolute honor of being joined today by my dear friend, Brenda Warren. Brenda, how are you?
I'm absolutely wonderful and so glad to be here.
Good. Well, thank you. I am so happy to have you. And I want to introduce you to the audience. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and read your little bio. Brenda Warren is known as the Soulutionist. She's a retired U.S. Marine, a 3-time best-selling author, and the creator of the TAPIN Method, a powerful framework that helps people turn their challenges into opportunities and live their best lives now. No opportunity wasted. Brenda's journey from overcoming PTSD and MST to becoming a transformational coach and storyteller is truly inspiring. We'll be diving into the power of storytelling, her books, and the incredible community that she's built around the TAPIN Method. So, Brenda, welcome.
Thank you.
I wanted to start by saying, of course, thank you for your service. You were a U.S. Marine. And how long were you in the service, and what inspired you to join?
Well, I did 20 years of active duty, and I was inspired when my Uncle Freddie took me to the Naval Yard in Philadelphia, and I saw a parade, and this handsome man that was very tall, dressed in this amazing two-tone blue uniform with a red stripe, glided up to us and said, "Hello, little lady." And I asked him, "Who or what are you?" And he said, "I'm a Marine." I said, "What's a Marine?" He said, "We protect those who can't protect themselves." And from that point on, I knew I was going to be a Marine.
Oh, that is so cool. I got chills. Amazing. I love that. Now was anyone in your family in the military at all, or was
Yes, my Uncle Freddie was in the Navy.
Right. Okay.
We've had lots of members that served.
Wonderful. Now, part of your story and your background, you talk about how you overcame PTSD and also MST, and it's really inspiring. And I wondered if you could share with us a little about the background of that, but also storytelling. In a way, there was a pivotal moment where you got off the couch and you posted on social media and shared your story. Tell us more about your story and then how you began to heal.
Well, I was sitting on my couch and I just was in a place of total despair, and I was about to become yet another unnecessary silence, like many military people when they've hit rock bottom. But I made a call to the National Crisis Hotline, and this amazing man named David talked to me for over 4 hours. And at the end of that conversation, he made me promise that I would do something for somebody else because he saw I was someone that helped others. And
you had been in a depression for like over 8 years. Is that right?
Or I sat on that couch for 8 years, gained 100 pounds extra, and I did not see a way out. I was so tormented by the things that I had experienced in the military that I just had pretty much given up on life. And I had retired and I went to work at a hospital. I was an administrator for 13 years. I was at the hospital, and I began to, because of the stress of the job, the unfair treatment that was happening, I basically had a break with reality.
Yeah.
And that put me on the couch, and I sat on that couch overly medicated for 8 years.
Were you still working or were you not working?
When I was on the job, so I had left, I had to come off my job because I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, then 13 years at the hospital.
Okay.
I was a director in charge of several departments with over 150 employees, 5 managers. And my world fell apart.
Yeah.
And I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress and sexual and PTSD and MST, military sexual trauma. And I was in denial because Marines don't do that. I just, the shame and the guilt, which I call schmilt. Shame is you
schmilt.
Did something bad. So I lived in schmilt for 8 years.
Yeah.
Barely going out of my home, too afraid to speak to anybody, because once I had the mental breakdown, the schmilt was overwhelming and I saw no way out.
Yeah. I also battle with depression, and I take medication for it and have done lots of counseling for it. But for me, it is a long-term, forever kind of a situation. And when you are in the depths of it, there really is no darker, deeper low than that.
No.
So I am so glad that you were able to, that you called that crisis hotline and you were able to speak to somebody who could truly relate or understand you. What happened next? What happened what inspired the social media post, or what was the post about?
Well, what inspired the social media post was that able to fulfill what I had told the gentleman on the phone, I got up the next day and I had this email talking about this thing called a Be on TV challenge. Be seen. I didn't want to be on TV, and I darn sure didn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
But I did take something just said take that challenge. So I took the challenge just to fulfill that I was going to be doing something. And I got on this challenge, and this very happy woman was telling everybody how you can live your best life. And I wanted to slap her taste. She was just too happy. And the gentleman sitting next to her was no better. But by the end of that day, I had drank the Kool-Aid, and I believe that I live my best life when she asked us to do homework for your badass moment, none other than Jen Gottlieb.
And I was going to say those people were Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield, who we both know very well. Yes. And I owe a lot of my success to them. But Jen is very outgoing. She is also very persuasive.
She does not have a stop button. She's an Energizer bunny. And if you can get in her presence and not get to a better vibrational level, you don't have a pulse. It's simple.
It's true. It's true. So Jen inspired you to take some action, and that was the social media post. What was it? What was that significant, or was it just the action of the post itself?
It was very significant because what she asked us to do was post on social media, go live, and tell people about our badass moments. You know, she wanted us to write them down, figure out it was, and then talk about it. Now you have to think about it. I was a woman that had sat on the couch for 8 years, and I wasn't thinking about me being a badass. As far as I was concerned, I was worthless.
Yeah,
I had no value. I was overweight. I wasn't functioning badass. But then I began to write down all the things I had done. I'm a serial entrepreneur since the age of 9. I'd had over 10 successful businesses. A minister. That's another thing. I'm a minister of the gospel. And I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. Oh yeah, I'm a badass. And so I got on the social media, Facebook, and started telling my story and about what happened and why I was doing it. And it changed everything.
Tell me more about that. Like, what was that feeling of that building up that momentum? Was it just the act of getting it out? I mean,
it was the act of acknowledging that there was more to me than even I knew. I had not really take and put a spotlight on me. I'm very good at celebrating and educating others, but I had not celebrated or educated myself about myself. So doing that post was amazing, but it really wasn't the post that was it gave me a spark enough that when they said there was a grand prize, I put a sticker on my computer saying I will be the grand prize winner. And by the end of that, I was the grand prize winner.
Were you really?
Yes, I was. I was the grand prize winner of that particular one.
I didn't know that.
Coached by Jen and Chris.
Very cool.
But what was the phenomenal thing about in addition to actually being the grand prize winner, was the fact that people from all over the world were messaging me. But it was this one lady in particular, because I had, even in my depression, I was trying to help others. I would do this thing called Tell Yourself Tuesday. And I would encourage people to tell themselves something good while I was telling myself I'm worthless.
Yeah.
So this one lady wrote, I'm a white woman from Iowa. We probably have nothing in common, but I'm glad you didn't take those pills. She said, I've been listening to you. And because I've been listening to you, I got out of bed and started feeding my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been able to function because my 14-year-old had become one of those unnecessary silences in July. This was now in January. excuse me, and it was now July.
Yeah.
She said, "You are the voice for the voiceless, and your voice is needed." I lost it.
Mm.
I did reach out to her, and we did correspond for a little while, and she told me about her story. But that lady,
Yeah.
that story, it's like that baby, he was 14. That baby
Yeah.
didn't have the words. He didn't have what I had and the ability to stop things before they met their final end. And in honor of him, and I promised I'd never use his name because I didn't want to disrespect the family, but in honor of that baby, I said I would become the voice for the voiceless. And I would make sure that I stayed here so
Yeah.
that he wasn't forgotten. And so that all those other military people like me that find themselves will know that there is somebody that's believing in them, that's speaking for them.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, that is, I'm trying to not get too teary. I love that. And I didn't know that part of the story as well. So what I want to express to the audience is that storytelling, whether it is fiction or nonfiction, and Brenda's is nonfiction, there's nothing fun or fantastical about her story, but the magic and the transformative power and the momentum that you can build off of telling your story can lead to so many other wonderful, positive experiences and even touch other people, as Brenda did with the lady in Iowa. So Brenda, I really appreciate you sharing more about your background. Now you call yourself the Soulutionist, S-O-U-L.
Mm-hmm.
What does that title mean to you?
Well, see, when I first started doing what I'm doing now, I called myself the voice for the voiceless. But as I began to talk to more and more people around the world, people would constantly tell me that it felt like I reached into their soul. Excuse me. And one of the people I had worked with said, "You're a solutionist." And I thought, I like that. So I started using that, a solutionist, because I feel like I've always been gifted by God to have the ability to create a safe space for anybody that needed to speak. Even as a child, people would tell me their deepest, darkest, unprovoked. And so now when I got myself back into alignment, it was happening all over again. And I was able to work with people in a way that helped them do a healthy soul search so that they didn't find themselves locked in the pit of depression like I would, with no way out.
Yeah. Do you still have to practice ways of lifting yourself up on a daily basis? Because it's so hard, I would think, doing what you do. I mean, parts of it come naturally to you, but still, you're holding space for people. You are allowing that voice. Is it still hard for you to stay positive?
I'm glad you asked that, Sarah, because one of the things people often are amazed at, and you said earlier that has overcome PTSD, I always say I'm managing it. And manage it because I was diagnosed with complex PTSD. And the thing about that is that I realized that I had to manage my state. I had to, as much as I pour out to people, I have to, on a regular basis, pour that back into myself, or I can find myself crawling back into the bed or on the couch. And there have been times that I've literally come and been a guest on a podcast, got off of that and went in my bed and curled up in a fetal position and cried because I was still so raw. And so I fight hard to protect my peace.
You've also written several books. Tell me more about those books. And then did you find that while you were writing these books, was that also part of healing yourself?
Absolutely. You know, I started with the TAPIN soul searching, get on board for transformation using the TAPIN method. This is the book right here. And I wrote the first edition. I should have brought, let me see, I think I have it. Okay,
Sorry, and the title of that one that you just showed, for anyone who can't see this, if you're listening, that was, show the first one again.
Okay.
Get them all out.
Okay. Soul searching, get on board for transformation using the TAPIN method.
Got it.
By Brenda Warren. This is the second edition. This was the, well, that's not it either. That's not the,
we'll find it.
It is up here. Do I?
No, somewhere on that bookshelf.
Oops. I wanted y'all to see it because it will show you the level of where I was, because I was
Mm-hmm.
in the deeper depression. So the first book had my face on it, and it was really bad. So
Oh
I read
gosh.
the
Okay.
cover. But the thing about writing that book, that was very cathartic, because
Yeah.
it was the actual method I used to get myself out of the depression and off of the couch and able into a place of management and not laying in it.
Mm.
And I've written
And
several business books and books for journal with veterans, and I've been on many collaborations as well.
awesome. Did you have a favorite one? A favorite book that you've written?
The favorite one that I've written was Soul Searching, because it's one that is, I call it the family affair. My father loved trains, and my grandmother was a great storyteller and a life lesson person.
Ooh, love
And
it.
so my father was obsessed with trains. So I use a train as a way, and I'm traveling as a way to tell the story of how people can tap in to live their best life now, no opportunity wasted.
Can you explain then, like a little bit more about what is the TAPIN method?
Yeah. The TAPIN Method is a 5-step strategic plan designed to help people move past their stuck points. It's the process of closing the gap from where you are to where you want to be. Hence the train ride, where you can always have stops along the way. You know, you can get in and off the train. You can get on a platform, whatever platform you choose to work on, and get
Yeah.
back on the plane. Each train car is a different car, and it's a fun little story that kind of takes you down. Each letter in tap in is a part of the process. The T stands for transformation. That's where you work on your mindset, because I had to shift my mindset and believe that I could get off that couch and stay off of it.
Yeah.
The A is 2-part. It's an announcement and accountability piece. You announce what is your desired result, and you get some accountability in that process. The P part is the preparation phase. That's where you prepare. We'll use weight loss as an example.
Sure.
If you want to lose weight, then you have to prepare yourself in reference to your workout gear, where you're going to go. You're going to work out at home or in the gym. What are you
Clean
going to
out that pantry, get rid of all that crap.
prepare so you can actually make the transformation? And then the imagine stage, where you use your imagination. That's my favorite, because that's where we do visualization processes, because I want people to dream big and then dream bigger than that. The sky's the limit. It's whatever you want, we can make it happen. And then the end is where you nurture all that stuff. You put everything together. You're loving on yourself. You're doing your self-care. You're making sure that you've created a trip that will allow you to tap into anything you want, be it finances, emotional well-being, be it relationships, be it parenting. I said that wrong. Parenting. Your career, being an entrepreneur. I can tap in to take a bubble bath.
That is one thing that not the bubble bath part, though I do like this, but I love that you are someone who is super financially responsible as well. You always are inspiring me about that. You are a debt-free person, which is something that I am close to, but I aspire to be like. And did the tap-in method help you with that, or was that something that you
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because again, it was about changing my mindset about money. You know, we've been all told that we have to be in debt, that we have to have car payments or mortgages and stuff like that. That's a lie from the pit. I'm like, the devil is a liar. We don't have to live like that. It's just a system that was designed to keep us broke. And when you begin to change your mindset about money and about what it really represents, you can become debt free. I was a person with 13 credit cards. I was $180,000 in debt. And right now, the only thing I have is a 30-year mortgage that I'm going to about pay off in another year and a half, now that I'm tapping into that. What I did was I didn't tap into everything all at once. I tapped in financially of picking what did I want to do. My first thing, I eliminated credit card debt. The next thing I did was eliminate a car payment. And now the next thing I'm going to do is eliminate my mortgage.
You are.
It's
I'm
easy
so proud of you.
to tap into it.
I love that. Okay. With your books as well, because they're really good on an emotional level of really connecting with the reader. Is that just something that comes natural to you? Do you also use storytelling within your books? How do you keep these books interesting and make them so unique?
Storytelling is for me, It's about the journey. I've been an avid reader since I was a little girl. That's how I escaped. I grew
Mm,
up in the projects, so there was a
yeah.
lot of violence and disharmony. And I lived across the street from a library, and there was a lovely lady there who encouraged me to read books well above my age level. So
Oh,
I would literally get lost in books. I can still remember traveling to the Seven Seas or going to The Black Opal is a book that remembers. It was the first romance novel I ever read.
mm,
So she encouraged me to go to places in my mind that my body physically couldn't go. And it also helped me in times when I was really being traumatized by certain things. I had
right.
that ability to take myself out and put myself into another story until I could deal with reality.
What, if I can ask,
Mhm.
and whether that's childhood fiction or as an adult, are there any fiction books that are your favorites or that you just absolutely love?
Let me see. Fiction books that you read. You know, it would be easier for you to ask me how many stars in the sky because
Yeah.
you see this right here. My room is filled with books cases all wrapped around. There are over 4,000 books in my house, and I've read them. I read things right from water reclamation and how it's done to how to build a foundation on a skyscraper.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
like right now, I read lots of books all at once. I'm currently reading The Life Power and How to Use It by Elizabeth Town. This is about the law of attraction and how you can use it in your life. I'm reading
Hmm.
Queenology by Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. It's all about queenology because queens carry themselves a certain way. It is a amazing book, and any single woman, get this book right here to change your life. You won't
Oh, I
sit
love it.
with this. And I'm also reading You Owe You by Eric Thomas. You know,
That sounds like a good one too.
ever since I've been introduced to him, you can't keep me off of his pages and stuff because he's so motivational. And so I'm usually reading at least 3 books at once. I can't help myself.
I will link some of those books in the description below because I definitely also want to check out Queenology. I am not single, but I still want to know how to carry myself.
Even if you're married.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you have a mission that includes helping others to self-publish their stories, which is huge. Maybe talk a little bit about that, and then I have some other questions about
Okay.
self-publishing.
I started my publishing company, Talk to Me Publishing, because I was very irritated that people that I knew were spending thousands, 20, $30,000 for to get a self-published book on KDP, only to not have access to the royalties and to not even sell another book. I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
what in the world? So I sent myself to publishing school and started understanding how KDP and Lulu and all the other book publishers, Venti and the rest work. And that's when I started publishing books and helping other people publish the books. I became a book publishing coach. I've also been a publisher from start to finish to include editing. I've decided I like the book coaching better though. That way I don't
Yeah.
have to do the work.
You've just inspired me. The whole term of like publishing school, it never occurred to me that I could learn how to help
Right.
publish books or that's amazing.
It really is a lot of fun, and people don't realize if anybody wanted to publish their book, I encourage people to just start writing first off.
I was going to say, like, what advice is probably just get the story out first and
This is
then
my
they
fun
could,
part. I tell everybody,
yeah.
let go of your grammar uh, phobia and the English teachers and all of that. And what I ask the people I work with is to just simply write. Don't worry about correcting it. Just do a data dump of whatever topic you want to write because we can always fix it up later. But the
Yes.
key is to build your writing muscle. So if you can
Hmm.
just begin to get your story out. So many people think they have to have it in chapters, but the reality is you may rearrange it. My friend Laura used the term, it's not a nose job, it's not permanent. You know, you can simply write, and then that's where the professionals come in and help you craft the story and get it in some order. I give them writing assignments, words of the day. Like, for example, depending on how big or small they want the book, I'll give them exercises and tell them how many words per day you need to write. in order to get a book done in 90 days, 6 months, or a year, or even 2 years, depending on your schedule. We're going to write the book your way in your time frame.
That makes me so happy. I am a big advocate for people. There are some people in my life, I won't mention who they are, and they have been writing a book or several books or one book for over a long period of time, and yet it's just not getting published. Like they're not ready to do that yet. And I really want this dream fulfilled, and maybe they don't want it as much as I do. I don't know. But anyway, I love that you are helping people find structure and making this doable and be proactive about getting it done.
And I like the people like your family members, because that's usually just about having a conversation and letting them know how powerful their story is. And the first thing I encourage people to do when they say they want to write a book is start telling people they're writing a book. It puts them on blast, and then they have to do it.
Oh, I like that. Jen Gottlieb also did that.
Before you put one word on the page, I want you to tell people you're writing a book. Because why? We want to build momentum so that when that book comes out, you have enough people to take you to bestseller.
Oh, yes, you do. You got to build an audience for it even before it's written. Now, okay, I wanted to ask you about the TAPIN Method community, but with your publishing company, do you have a community as well for that?
No, what I did was there was a TAPIN community, and I didn't even create it. Here's the interesting thing about the TAPIN community. The TAPIN community was created without me because I didn't even know I was a bestseller for a year.
Oh my gosh.
And that's because I wrote the book as a homework assignment. And then one day some lady reached out to me and said, hey, what about this? What about this? I'm like, what? And so, because the book was only written originally just for me.
Yeah.
Not for anybody else to see, but I would soon find out that women all over the world were tapping in Dubai, the UK, Buenos Aires. It's just ridiculous. And so once I realized it was more than me, that's when I did the second edition, updated it, and answered the questions that I had not in my first round. And so now I have a free community called the Life Community, where I host on the convened platforms, but that community is geared towards entrepreneurs. Life stands for leveraging impact for entrepreneurs. So, and most of the people I work with that are entrepreneurs, I teach them how to do lead magnets, write books, mini books, things of that nature.
I love that. You also, now I didn't ask you about this first, but you also have something called Brenda After Dark. Do you still do that? And
yes, I still do that. That's the relationship stuff. That's when we talk about having sex that makes the angels blush. Because in ministry, one of the things I had early on, I handled the singles ministry. I had one of the largest single ministries in North Carolina. And what was happening was a lot of time people were afraid to talk about sex. And then we trying to teach people how to date healthily and holy. Holiness is still required, And then we had the married couples, which that is geared towards them, although single people can take it. It's geared to teaching them that sex is something that was ordained by God. And when you're married, you have a license to make love. So you might as well have sex that makes the angels blush, because you are legal and you should enjoy
it. Okay, I love that. I'll have a link below, of course, to Brenda's website where you can connect with her and explore any of the things that she offers. That if that speaks to you, you'll be able to connect with her. With people who the message behind TAPIN that really resonates with them. What's the best way to get started with that? Is it to read the book? Is it to connect with you?
Yes, go to Amazon.com and get the book. And I think that whenever they are ready, if they just simply read the book, they can do that. That costs them, just the price of the book is under $20. And then once they read it, feel free to reach out to me if they have any questions. They can join some of my free stuff that we do, and we just talk about it. And if they want coaching, that's available as well.
Cool. Very nice. Okay. So what's next for you? Are you have more books, different projects, an expansion?
I'm working on a women's book for Women's History Month. I'm going to highlight some amazing women for that. I am doing a tap-in journal and
cool.
But the biggest thing that's coming is going to come out in March. I'm working on I had my Soulutionist portal, but we put it on pause after we did some research and found that it's going to be best that we keep it really small. So I'm just looking
Okay.
for 25 women solopreneurs that are ready to take their business to the next level. I'm going to teach them how to build profitable businesses that thrive, that they do not have to sacrifice their families for. And the best part about it is they're going to make money and be able to do business their way, and teaching them how to automate so they go, look, my no hands.
So good. I love that. Whether, you are an aspiring writer or there's another business idea that you have that you need the TAPIN method for, or maybe it's just that you want to lose weight, like whatever your goal is, I think there is a method. This methodology is something that Brenda can really walk you through so that you can achieve so many goals. I mean, Brenda's already, it speaks for itself, what you've accomplished with, becoming close to debt free with that mortgage almost getting paid off, and all of the putting yourself through publishing school and doing all these things. I'm just so impressed. So impressed. You went from couch to where you are now is impressive. If you could leave our listeners with one piece of wisdom about storytelling and personal transformation, what would it be?
I think the first thing is that you have to want to make the transformation, and you have to understand that there is power in your story, that there is someone waiting for you to give them the encouragement, the inspiration to know that they are not alone, so that they too can live their best life now, no opportunity wasted. We don't need to worry about somebody else's. Jen says, chapter 22. We start right where we are and simply tell our story, as much of it as you're willing to share.
Yeah.
But if you can just know that there is somebody waiting for you to walk out your purpose so that they can walk out theirs, you wouldn't hold your story inside. You let it go because there's power in your story.
Well said. Absolutely. I applaud you, Brenda. That was amazing. I guess we can wrap up right here. I just wanted to thank you again for your time today and for sharing yourself with the audience. And I hope that everyone will connect with you.
I hope so too.
Take care, everybody.